This is Mrs. Leach. Today's lesson is on fractions, decimals, and percents. Our learning target is I can use fractions, decimals, and percents to represent the same quantity. So I have some examples down below. 1/2 is a fraction, 50 hundredths is a decimal, and 50% is a percent. All right, so I have a grid here. This is a hundreds grid, so it holds 100 squares. It's telling me to model 1/2 on here. So 1/2 of 100 would be 50. So I'm going to shade in 50 squares. So that would be 5 rows. So there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 is half of 100. So I've just modeled 1/2 on this hundreds grid. Okay? Well now, if that was modeling 1/2, that's my fraction. So there's some different names for fractions and decimals. So what we call fractions are actually called common fractions. We just shorten it to fraction. We're going to learn about decimals, and they actually call decimals decimal fractions. But again, that one just gets shortened to decimal. So the first thing I need to do, if I want to show 1/2 as a decimal and a percent, I have to find an equivalent fraction to 1/2 that has a denominator of 100. And maybe you can guess it right away based on our grid that we just drew, or maybe we need to use paper and pencil method. So we can do both. So if I have 1/2 and I want to make it into an equivalent fraction that has a denominator of 100, you should remember how to do this. 2 times something equals 100. 2 times 50. It sometimes helps if you think about money, because we know that there's 100 cents in a dollar. So 2 times 50 cents would be 100. So we do the same to the top. 1 times 50 equals 50. So our equivalent fraction that has a denominator of 100 is 50 100ths. And if you remember, that's what we just modeled on our hundreds grid, was 50 out of 100 of those squares. All right, now that we have an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100, we can do the next step. We can turn it into a decimal, okay? And so we would write that as 50 hundredths. And here's what that looks like. 50 hundredths. Kind of looks like 50 cents, okay? Now the next step is to turn it into a percent. Remember that percent means per 100. So if you think about money, there's 100 cents in a dollar. Therefore, the decimal 50 hundredths is the same as 50%. So like a 50-cent piece has a value of 50% of a dollar. So we write that like this. So we went from 1/2 to 50 hundredths to 50 hundredths is exactly how we say that. It looks like 0.50, but we say it 50 hundredths, and you'll learn why later. And then to 50%. So let's look at another example. This one is asking us to model 1/4. Whoopsie. Sorry about that. Trying to scroll down. So if I want to model 1/4 of this, that would be 25 out of 100. Because again, there's 4 quarters in a dollar. So we would shade in 10, 20, 25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So because there's 4 quarters in a dollar, 25 cents would be 1/4. So that's what that looks like on a grid. Now we're going to do some translation. So our fraction is 1/4. So our equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100, again, you can use your grid or you can find it this way. 1/4 is the same as how many hundredths? 4 times what equals 100? 4 times 25 equals 100. Do the same to the top. 1 times 25 equals 25. So 25 hundredths is the same as 1/4. Okay? And the decimal of that would be, we say it, 25 hundredths. This is the tenths place. This is the hundredths place. So we have 2 tenths and 5 hundredths. So we would say 25 altogether hundredths. Then the percent would just be 25%. And that's it.